All right, let's talk about something that might just flip how we think about AI and documents. For years, the big idea has been that AI searches through text, but what if that's the wrong way to look at it entirely? Today, we're diving into a new technology that treats it as a navigation problem, and frankly, the results are pretty mind-blowing. This sentence right here, this is everything. This is the key that unlocks the whole problem with how most AI systems try to understand complex documents today. It's the simple, powerful idea that sparked a totally new approach. Let's dig into why this is so important.
You've probably heard of the standard method, Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG. It's fine for simple stuff, like a basic FAQ page. But when you get to the documents that really matter, the dense financial reports, the complicated legal contracts, it just falls apart.
So here's the heart of the issue. Traditional RAG is basically a word matching game. It chops up a document and finds the little pieces that sound like your question. But think about it. Professionals don't need words that sound similar. They need the section that is the right answer, even if the language used is totally different. And that is the fundamental flaw.
So what does this failure actually look like in the real world? Well, it comes in three main flavors. First, there's context destruction. Imagine a complex table in a financial report. You split it into tiny sentences, and suddenly the numbers are meaningless. They're just floating. Second, cross-reference blindness. If the text says, "For more info, see Appendix G," a vector system is clueless. It has no idea what Appendix G is or how to get there. And third, multi-hop failure. This is a big one. It's when the AI can't take a number from page 10, a fact from page 50, and combine them to answer your question.
Okay, so if search is the problem, then what's the solution? Well, a new framework called PageIndex comes along and says, let's just stop searching altogether. Let's start navigating. And this comparison just lays it out so clearly. Vector RAG at the end of the day is just a super sophisticated keyword search. PageIndex, it's completely different. It's more like giving the AI an expert's annotated table of contents so it can actually reason its way through the document structure, just like you or I would.
And here's the official definition. The most important word here is vectorless. That means it throws out that old word similarity model completely. Instead, it relies on the AI's own brain, its own reasoning power to find its way around.
And you're going to love this. The inspiration for this whole approach comes from the game of Go. Remember AlphaGo, the AI that stunned the world by beating the best players? It didn't win by just memorizing old games. No way. It won by reasoning, by thinking moves ahead. PageIndex applies that exact same logic to a document structure.
Okay, that all sounds really cool, but how does it actually work under the hood? Well, it all comes down to a really clever data structure called a tree index.
Before the AI even attempts to answer a question, it builds this, a tree index. It's basically a smart map of the entire document. Every section, every subsection gets a title, page numbers, and a quick AI-generated summary of what's inside. And get this, for a huge 200-page report, this entire map is tiny, like 50 to 200 kilobytes. No massive, expensive vector database is needed.
Let's make this real with an example. Imagine taking Apple's massive annual 10K report and turning it into this interactive table of contents on steroids. You don't just see a section title, you also see a little AI summary like, this section breaks down deferred revenue and compares it year over year. So the AI gets the gist of every single part of the document before reading a single word of the full text.
So when you ask a question, you can almost watch the AI think. It's a logical step-by-step process. First, it scans the main chapter summaries and thinks, okay, my answer is probably in financial statements. Then it dives in, looking at the summaries of the subsections. It can even follow those cross-references we talked about and just jump straight to Appendix G. Finally, it lands on the precise text, pulls the answer, and even tells you the page number. It's pure, elegant logic.
This all sounds great in theory, right? But the real test is how it performs. And this is where the story gets really compelling.
So let's just ask the question straight up. Does navigating a document actually give you better answers than just searching it?
Oh yeah. On Finance Bench, which is the gold standard for testing AI on complex financial documents, PageIndex scored 98.7% accuracy. Let that sink in for a second. That's not just a little better, that's nearly perfect.
This chart really puts that number into shocking perspective. Your typical vector search system. It's getting it right maybe half the time, hovering around 40 to 50%. Even if you just throw the whole document at a super powerful model like GPT-4o, it only gets it right about 31% of the time. PageIndex isn't just an improvement, it's playing a different sport entirely. And we really have to understand what this means in the real world. For a financial analyst, a lawyer, a doctor, a 50% chance of being wrong isn't just bad, it's unacceptable. This incredible leap in accuracy is the difference between a tool that's a cool novelty and one you can actually trust with your job. So does this mean we just throw vector search in the trash? Not exactly. The real key here is knowing you have different tools in your toolbox and when to use each one.
It's really important to see that PageIndex is a specialist. Think of it like a surgeon's scalpel. It's designed for deep, precise analysis of a single, complex, structured document. It's not meant to replace vector search for every single thing you do. And this decision framework makes it crystal clear. If you need to do a deep dive on one single report or contract and precision is everything, PageIndex is your answer. But if you're trying to search across thousands of unstructured notes or web pages, the speed and scale of vector search is still the way to go. Which means the ultimate professional playbook is often a hybrid approach. It's a two-step dance. Step 1, you use the broad net of vector search to quickly find the handful of documents that are most likely to have your answer.
And then you move to step 2. Once you've got your shortlist, you deploy PageIndex, the scalpel, to do its precise, reasoning-based navigation and find the exact answer inside them. It's the best of both worlds. You get the scale of search and the precision of navigation, working together.
And that leaves us with a really fascinating thought to end on. We started this journey thinking of AI as a search engine, but PageIndex proves it can be a navigator, a reasoner. So if AI has now mastered the expert human skill of navigating complex information, the really big question is, what other human reasoning skills will it master next?